Hello, good everyone. Welcome back to today's class. My name is Rahim from No Big Deal Academy. Last week we talked about functions, arithmetics, and how to format in Excel. So today we are going to be looking in another direction. So we want to talk about Gantt charts in Excel. But before we look at Gantt chart, what is a chart in Excel? A chart in Excel is a visual representation of data that transform numerical information into graphs. So when you have some data that is number, text, you can convert it to what you can call a diagram or a graph. That is how graphs works. Like for example, those people that conduct election, you notice that they usually represent their data in graphs after the election to show the result in percent or to show it in a bar chart. And again, if you are into cryptocurrency, you notice that their platform is being represented with graphs. Also, that is line graphs. So what I'm trying to say is that those things you are seeing, it is a digit, a values that is being used to convert to that chart. So let's look at it here. If you are given a chart to plot in Excel, the first thing you need to do is to convert your data to table by going to insert. After you have already highlighted all the data that you want to convert, you go to table and insert it and say okay and convert it to table. So this is a table that we'll be using for our class for today. So a normal people, when they ask them to convert to chart, they will just highlight and go to insert and select any of the example of the charts. We have many example of charts like columns, line, pie, bar, and so on. So, but our own is not going to look like that. We are not going to just highlight and plot our chart. We are going to arrange it step by step to show how the chart looks like. So if you just highlight this thing now and plot to chart, let's see it. For example, we are using this. We are using the same thing, stack bar. So if I just choose stack bar to plot it, see the way it looks like. Can you read this one? Nobody can read it. You cannot present it. How do you want to read it? No way. So, but if you do it step by step, you'll be able to like identify, okay, this particular data belong to this data. So that is why we are going to be using the process of Gantt chart to plot our graphs. So now let's look at what is a Gantt chart. This is the looks of the Gantt chart. This is my website, Rahim No Big Deal blogspot. I post anything on this website. It can be news, can be birthday, can be. I'm just using it for an advert. So when I did this thing, it has been long, so I just say let me keep it here so that in case I want to use it. So this is the looks of the Gantt chart. This is what we want to do, something like this. Then see the data that we use to convert it to this one. So if you are following me and maybe you got stuck, you want to check how I did it, just come to this website, rahimnobigdeal.blogspot, then search for Gantt chart. You will see it there. So the process step by step, the way I did it that time is there. So by our own today, we are going to do it as practical. So if you notice that the first thing they did here is we minus 6 minus b2 to get the duration. So that is what we are going to do now. we minus this with this to get this. So how do we get this 5? Let me move this particular value because it is not a function value. Let me move it aside. Move it even down. So how do we get this value? Is that we minus this in this to get this. But let's look at the month. This one is having so we minus this one is having the bigger number. So we minus this bigger number from this. So remember, we use equal to start our function. Then C2, that is the cell referencing, C2 minus B2. There you enter. This is how table works. Immediately you enter any values that are using function. Immediately you calculate it, it will show up all the data. Now see our correct data here. This one is not correct. So they just input any random data in their own, for example. So we are going to be using our own, delete this one. So now that you have gotten your duration, what next is to bring out the necessary values. If we go back here, after they got this, they now bring out the necessary values they need. That is the tax, the start date, and the duration. So our own too, we are going to bring out the tax, the start date, and the duration outside the table. So I will just copy. I will copy this one. Copy, then paste. That is the first thing, tax. Then start date. I'll copy it also. Then paste. Then duration. I'll copy it also. Then paste. Now we are seeing value is showing that the function that we have here, had it been we copy this one along with this one, the answer will display, but we don't need end date again. So we just have to write this one manually. So we delete this one first. Escape, highlight it and delete it. So we are inputting the data manually. That is 4, 4, 14, 4. Then the last one is 0. So we have gotten our second step. So the third step is to now represent this particular data into charts. How do we do that? We do it, remember that I told you that we are going to select this kind of data step by step. So I will first start with my start date, or I can start with my duration, but let me start with start date. Go to insert, then you go to bar chart, then you go to stack bar. Let's use this one as an example. So this is our first chart. That is why it's showing start date. Then the second thing we need to do is that we are going to select the duration so that immediately you see the start date, you see the duration. So we are going to right click. We are right clicking here and say select data. So when you say select data, we have to edit. We have edit here, we have edit here. So whatever you are doing, if you are adding a data, you use this side. You say add. Add. Then what is the series name? Is duration. You write it. You remove the series value. Then this one, you just highlight it to get the values. You see it. You click on OK. So the values and the duration and the start date now is plot already. The duration is red, and see it here, the start date is blue. So we can easily read this one, but it's still not enough for us to read. But because you are still left out with a tax name. So what we are going to do here, all this number, we are going to edit it and put the tag name, the tax name. So how do we edit it? You right click. Instead of saying, we can still say select data. So when you say select data, instead of saying add, you now say edit here, not this kind of edit. You use this side because this is where the numbering is. This is where the numbering is showing. You use this edit. Just click on edit. Then what are you editing? You go back to your table and select those values. You only select the values, you don't need the tags. Then you click on OK. OK again. So our tags and our date and our duration is now available. Now this is what we mean. We have represent our data into graphs. That is what we are trying to explain in the first time, that a data is the when you say graph, is the representation of data in that is transformation of numerical information into graphs. So we can use many patterns to represent our data into graphs. We have line, we have chart, anyone, but it depends on the kind of data you are working on. So at a professional level, you will be able to know which of the data is good for which one when you are doing your data analysis. So, but now what you just need is that you have represent your data into charts. So now what next? If you look at the tax name, you see that the launch is up and the project is down. We need to interchange it so that the project will go up and the launch will come down. So if you want to do that, you right click on it, then you now say format axis. In the format axis, when you see axis option, just read down. You see where they write categories in reverse order. Click on that one. Immediately you click, everything will arrange itself. Then you just click close. So everything is arranged now. Even the data has removed and go up. So what next is to remove this blue line. We don't want it to be showing, so that we can just say, okay, project planning take the duration of this as social date. So we don't need this start date again. So what we are going to do is that we right click on it again. We'll go to format data axis. Then you now remove the gap. Then again, you are now going to go for fill and remove no fill. So what next? You can design the 3D if you want. It's not compulsory. Now you are done with your graph. This is what I want. And I say you should plot a Gantt chart. So this is what we have as project today. If you have learned something new, just comment, say new, so that I will know that I have impact knowledge today. So thank you so much. I will want you to replicate these steps, following it step by steps, and then learn how to create a Gantt chart. If you look at the definition of Gantt chart, it's very, very important whereby when we want to use it in a project. That is, the Gantt chart bears a name of Henry Gantt. That is American mechanical engineer and management consultant who invented this chart as early as 1910. Now we are still using Gantt chart. A Gantt chart is an Excel representation project or task in the form of cascading horizontal bar chart. A Gantt chart illustrates the breakdown structure of the project by showing the start and finish date as well as various relationships between the project activities. So if you want more explanation about the Gantt chart, just visit the website rahimnobigdeal.blogspot.com. If you can't remember, just chat me, send me the website link, then I will send it to you, then you can follow it yourself. This is all what we have today. I wish you all the best. This is all what we have today. I wish you all the best. So please, if you find this video meaningful to you, subscribe and learn more. I remain myself, Rahim.